Good evening. It's your mental performance coach, EPOPS, here with a really interesting thing for you to think about. So lots of times when we're training and we're working on our mental performance, one of the things we desire to get better at is our mindset. How does what we think about something influence how we feel, how we behave? And I'm going to tell you about 2 studies that tell us it's more than just how we feel and how we behave. It's actually our physiology. It's actually what's happening within our body. My psychology students at high school think this is a spectacularly interesting piece of information. So, Dr. Leah Crum was involved in both of these. One of them is called the Milkshake study, and the other one is called the hotel worker study. So in the Milkshake study, they create 2 different milkshakes, so the participants think, and they're told one of these milkshakes is really healthy for you, low fat, low sugar, nutrient dense, really good for you. The other milkshake we're going to give you in a couple days is, well, it tastes really awesome, but it's high fat, high sugar, lots and lots of calories. So we're going to invite you to come in, we're going to invite you to eat the milkshakes on 2 different days, and then we're going to measure things that happen within your body. People come in, day 1, have the really healthy milkshake, and one of the things that they're measuring is they ask the participants, how do you feel? And the participants say it was super healthy, it was, it's really good for me, but I'm still hungry, I'm not full, I'm not what we call satiated. The researchers actually study another thing. They study a chemical that's in your stomach, and this chemical is called Ghrelin. And basically, when Ghrelin is high, we feel full, and when Ghrelin is low, we're really, really hungry. So that's super simplified, but that's in a nutshell what Ghrelin does for us. And they found that the people that ate the healthy, low-cal, low-sugar, low-fat milkshake, their Ghrelin stayed way up, and they were really hungry. And when they ate the super nutrient dense, it's bad for you, but it tastes yummy, it's got all kinds of stuff in it, milkshake, their Ghrelin fell, and they found, oh, wow, I feel great, I feel fantastic, I don't need to eat any more food, I feel fabulous. So researchers said, why on earth does this exact same milkshake change how our participants feel? There's no difference in the nutrient value. They're exactly the same, but thinking it was good for you, healthy, I'm still hungry, I want more. And thinking it's bad for you, lots of sugar, lots of fat, tastes awesome. Oh, I'm full, I feel great, I don't need anything else for a while. So researchers were really, really surprised by this information. They did a similar test. They went to a hotel, and they asked the hotel workers, they said, okay, so if we know you're supposed to get X number of hours of cardiovascular workouts in every single solitary week, where are you guys on this scale? And the hotel worker said, oh, we're somewhere between 0 and 3 out of 10. So, we're not doing such a good job on our physical exercise. The reality is those hotel workers, because they're working really, really hard, they're walking around a lot, they're pushing carts, they're vacuuming, they're flipping over beds, changing bedding, leaning, squatting, pushing, pulling, getting physical exercise each and every day, and they are getting more than the prescribed exercise amount. So what they did is they studied systolic blood pressure, so they're just studying the efficiency of the heart. They're studying the weight, the poundage of these people. They're asking them their own perception of how fit are you or unfit are you, how satisfied are you with your body image. And then they took one group of these hotel workers and they said, you know what, you are surpassing the requirements for physical exercise. You're getting well over the normal amount. You are getting more than enough exercise. And the other group they didn't say anything to. They let some time pass and they let these hotel workers continue to do their normal jobs. And as far as researchers know, the hotel workers didn't change what they were doing. They didn't suddenly, start doing push-ups or chin-ups or whatever, in between hotel rooms, or take up, I'm going to train for a marathon. As far as researchers know, there was no change in the physical exercise output of these hotel workers. So they pass a little bit of time and they invite the hotel workers back in. And lo and behold, the group they had said, you surpass the recommendations. You are doing better than the average person by a landslide with the amount of exercise you're getting and all the rest of it. They were shocked to find out the heart was more efficient. The stress level chemicals were coming in at a lower level. The hotel workers felt better about themselves, and really interesting, they had actually lost weight. Nothing had changed except their perception, what they thought about had changed. So here's something that's kind of a little mind shift for you to try. When we talk about the word stress, people get completely freaked out. And stress is this bad thing. It's the terrible thing. It's the sweating. It's the increased heart rate. It's the I'm going to get sick, right? We think of all these terrible, awful, bad things that happen with stress. But stress is this really cool adaptive thing that our body does. So what if we reframe stress? And I'm not talking chronic stress day in, day out. I'm talking stress that happens to you as a performer. You're about to write an exam, you're about to go in the ring and do whatever your favorite sport is. I don't know if it's running, a barrel pattern, or if it's jumping some jumps, or if it's, jumping, or if it's splashing around cross-country course, whatever your thing is. Whenever you experience stress doing this thing, this performance anxiety you have, what about if you reframe the concept of stress? What if you think about the fact that my heart rate is increasing? And my heart rate is increasing because adrenaline is getting more blood flow to my heart to fuel my muscles so that I can work more effectively. What about if my cortisol levels are up so that I'm more alert? And what about if we think about all of these things that happen to our body when we're stressed as my body making the perfect performance enhancing chemical that is custom made for my body? How awesome would that be? Because that is, in essence, what stress, acute, like momentary short performance anxiety, that's what that stress is. And just like all performance enhancing chemicals, this one, however, is legal, but just like all performance enhancing chemicals, just like all chemicals, there is some sort of a side effect. So yeah, maybe I do have a little bit of nausea, but what if I just reframe it all? What if I think about it in a different way? A lot of high-performing athletes learn to reframe their body's responses as this thing that makes them better able to perform so they can shine, rise to the occasion, have more endurance, work harder. And it's kind of an interesting thought that if I change what I think about something, my body responds differently, even though nothing else has changed. The only thing that switched is my perception, what I thought about it. So changing our mindset. I'll leave you with one more little thing that's really interesting. There's a professor, her name is Dr. Carol Dweck, and she studied growth mindset. So if I believe that I don't understand something yet, but I will be able to, given time. So if I say, I don't understand this yet, I haven't memorized this test yet, my horse and I aren't performing this move very well yet. And if you always stick the word yet at the end of it, it changes how I feel about my ability to get better. So I invite you to give that, all of that stuff, it's fabulous food for thought, and I invite you to give it some thought for yourself, because that is kind of the crux of a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in our mental performance coming down the tubes. Wishing you an awesome night. This is your mental performance coach, E-Pops.